Most people believe that power is loud. They think it's in the sharp reply, the raised voice, the cutting comeback. They think strength means meeting aggression with aggression. But the ancients saw it differently. To them, true power lived in silence. Not the silence of fear or weakness, but the silence of command. The Stoics believed that the most dangerous man in the room is the one who does not flinch, does not rush, and does not reveal his emotions. Because a man who does not react cannot be controlled. When you react, you hand over the steering wheel of your mind. You let someone else write the script of your emotions. But when you choose restraint, when you choose silence, the game flips. Suddenly, it's not about their power, it's about your control. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his private meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This wasn't poetry, it was strategy. The Stoics used restraint as a weapon, a psychological shield that disarmed both friend and foe alike. While others showed their anger, their jealousy, their weakness, the Stoic stood still like a mountain, unmoved, unshakable, unreadable. And that, in a world addicted to noise, is power. When most people hear the word restraint, they think of suppression, holding back anger, biting your tongue, forcing yourself to remain calm. But in Stoic philosophy, restraint isn't passive, it's strategic self-governance. The Stoics understood something most people still don't. The first person you must learn to command is yourself. The moment your emotions are visible, the narrative of the situation no longer belongs to you. Imagine a heated debate. One man raises his voice, his face tightens, his gestures grow sharp. The other man remains silent, almost still. He blinks slowly, his breathing controlled. Without saying a word, everyone watching can tell who owns the room. This is not magic. This is the natural order of power dynamics. People instinctively follow calm. They trust those who appear composed, not necessarily those who are right. Epictetus warned his students, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." When someone provokes you, what they're really doing is reaching for your inner switchboard. They want to make you flinch. If they can make you flinch, they know exactly where to push next. But if they fail, if your face remains unreadable, your voice measured, their weapon becomes useless. That is restraint, the invisible sword. It doesn't slash, but it cuts deeper than noise. Restraint allows you to dictate the emotional temperature of any situation. Because silence isn't empty, it's charged. It makes others project their fears, their insecurities, their doubts onto you. And in that confusion, you gain power. The Stoics didn't just believe in emotional control as self-help. They saw it as warfare. The less you reveal, the less you can be manipulated. Marcus Aurelius was not just a philosopher. He was the emperor of Rome, the most powerful man of his time. He ruled during one of the most chaotic periods in Roman history. Plagues, wars, betrayal, and political conspiracies. Most rulers would have cracked under such pressure, but Marcus didn't. He led with silence. When his own general betrayed him and raised an army, Marcus didn't storm into the Senate with fury. He didn't scream for revenge. He waited. He watched. He remained calm. This was not weakness. It was calculation. He understood that a ruler who shows rage shows vulnerability. Rage tells your enemies where to strike. Calm tells them nothing. One senator wrote of him, "He ruled not with thunder, but with gravity. To stand before him was to face still water." His calm dismantled rebellions before swords were drawn, because panic spreads like fire, but so does composure. Marcus's restraint became the spine of his rule. It made him appear untouchable, divine even. While others flailed in emotion, he radiated command. This is the quiet paradox of restraint. Those who appear calm in the storm are often the ones steering it. Not all battles are fought in empires. Most are fought in conversations, arguments, relationships, workplaces. When someone tries to provoke you, they're testing for control. The manipulator uses subtle hooks, a sarcastic jab, a guilt trip, an accusation designed to make you explain yourself. If you react emotionally, they've already won. Because when you explain yourself defensively, the frame is no longer yours. But what happens when you don't react? When your face is still, when your tone doesn't rise, when your breathing stays slow, their attack falls into a void. Their power dissolves, and in that moment, they feel uncertain. This is why calm people make manipulators nervous, because control requires reaction. Without it, they're left swinging at shadows. Psychological projection explains part of this dynamic. People project their expectations onto silence. If they expected rage and saw none, they start second-guessing themselves. Their confidence cracks. Their tactics lose rhythm. This is restraint at work in everyday life. It's not about saying the right thing. It's about not giving them anything. Think of a modern negotiation, a boardroom, a salary talk, or a conflict between two leaders. The person who reacts first loses leverage, because emotion equals information. It shows where your boundaries are, what triggers you, what matters most. A skilled negotiator uses restraint like a shield. When a low offer is made, the emotional person blurts out, "That's too low!" They've just revealed their expectations. But the restrained person simply tilts their head and says nothing. Silence makes the other side speak. They fill the void with concessions, rationalizations, adjustments, because silence pressures people more than anger ever will. Even in political negotiations, leaders are trained to sit through verbal assaults without flinching, not because they're emotionless, but because showing emotion gives power away. This is the silent strategy of restraint. Let the storm rage around you. Let others reveal themselves. You wait. Epictetus again said it best. No man is free who is not master of himself. The Stoics weren't interested in being liked. They were interested in being unshakable. Restraint doesn't happen in the moment. It's forged before the storm ever begins. The Stoics practiced this every single day. They trained their minds to observe emotions without obeying them. They learned to pause, to create a gap between stimulus and response. When anger rises, the average person reacts. The Stoic watches. He recognizes this is anger. It does not control me. This is the discipline of inner stillness. It's not that Stoics didn't feel emotions. They felt everything. They just didn't hand over the keys. Think of it like a fortress. If your walls are weak, every insult, every provocation breaks through. But if your walls are strong, the attack crashes and falls silent. Meditation, reflection, and voluntary discomfort were their tools. They didn't wait for peace to be tested. They built their strength in advance. That's why when the world tried to shake them, it failed. Restraint is not silence born of fear. It's silence forged in power. In a world addicted to instant reactions, to shouting over each other, to letting every small provocation dictate your emotions, the person who stays calm doesn't just stand out, they stand above. Power isn't about being the loudest voice in the room. It's about being the one who doesn't need to speak to be felt. The Stoics mastered this art centuries ago. They understood that reactivity is slavery, but restraint is freedom. Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca, they lived in empires, but their greatest kingdom was their own mind. And the one who commands their mind commands everything else. So the next time someone tries to provoke you, remember, their power depends on your reaction. Your power depends on your restraint.